Good evening, everybody from this side of the world, and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly forex and crypto outlooks or analysis, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to be going over my regularly traded pairs. As you guys can see, this is my watch list. This is what I usually trade on a weekly or monthly basis, whatever time frame I'm trying to trade at the time. Um, I am going to be going over the weekly time frames as well shortly, but I do want to just go over some trades that I took last week, and I was talking about that these are the trades that I was going to take, and they ended up being losing trades, and I just want to be 100% transparent about that. I'd rather be transparent about my losses and then just show my wins only because I mean everybody shows their wins, but not a lot of people show their losses. But anyways, US dollar, I was thinking last week that it's going to come into this zone right here at 110.125 and then go bullish, at least some type of bullish reaction before continuing going bearish. And we never got that play. It ended up continuing to go bearish. But that was the second play that I was thinking was going to happen. But because my bias was wrong for the US dollar, a lot of the other pairs that I was trading, they ended up being wrong as well. But I just wanted to get that over out the way with, because that ended up making me hit my weekly loss limit, and that's totally fine. I knew that I had to stop trading, and now we're just back in another week and we're going to get back to it. Once you have a system in place, these things become easy, right? So first and foremost, we're going to go over the fundamentals real quick. So Monday, tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Central Standard Time, there would be monetary policy meeting minutes for the Australian dollar. Tuesday, we have GDP claimant count change. Not going to really worry too much about that. Empire State Manufacturing, not worried about that. We have PPI for the US dollar on 7:30 a.m. as well with the Empire State Manufacturing Index. So that's something to watch out for. Wage price index, not really caring too much about that for Australian dollar personally. We do have CPI for the GBP and the Canadian dollar, so that's something that we want to watch for sure on the GBPs for 1 a.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday, and then 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for that Canadian dollar. You definitely want to watch for that CPI. We have retail sales for the US dollar. And man, there's a lot of news on Wednesday. GDP, there's monetary policy report hearings, and Australian dollar later on in that same day. There will be employment change and unemployment rate. Thursday, there's Philly Fed Manufacturing Index on Thursday. And let me go ahead and just check investing.com just to see if there's anything that I really care for other than what I've read. Inflation report hearings, we know that's going to happen. Building permits, that's something that wasn't on Forest Factory, but that's something to watch out for a little bit. And we have retail sales for the GP as well. But other than that, no, yeah. It's gonna be there is a lot of news, but it's nothing too crazy for me except for like the CPIs that I was mentioning, right? So let's go ahead and jump into this analysis. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts, technical analysis. So like I mentioned, there was two options that I was really looking at for the US dollar last week, and I even want to go into fast forward mode to even illustrate this a little better. I was thinking that, hey, the US dollar is going to do either one, it's going to come down into this zone that it's currently at right now, right? And it's going to hold here before going bullish, or B, it's going to hold at from this high to this low, right? So price was coming into the air, and I was like, all right, 109.200. This is the area where I'm going to be looking to buy at. Price ended up not playing out there. It went up a little bit before coming into that entry, then just slammed to the downside. And so now, again, price is currently at this area where I'm like, hey, this is where I'm going to be looking for the dollar, its second potential to go bearish, right? I do know on the oops, hold on, give me a second. Why is my phone jumping like this? No, it's not this serious. Probably my cameras. On a 4-hour daily time frame wise, this is a play that I'm looking for on the US dollar. there is not that much volume on the way to the downside, but the volume is increasing as price is dropping. However, that's one thing that I was watching out for. Weekly time frame, huge bearish engulfing candle all the way to the downside right here. The volume isn't necessarily there. I do want to go ahead and throw where this. Yeah, you see right now with this price action, look where all the volume is sitting at, right where price is currently at, right? So that's where I'm like, to me, as much as this is really bearish, I'm looking for price to turn around over here. If price does indeed break below 104.510, that's when I think I'm gonna finally start to say, yes, okay, we are officially bearish. There is still a whole lot of volume to the downside. A whole lot of volume to the downside. Definitely price still needs to make a whole lot of correction on the daily time frame, let alone on the weekly. But overall, like I said, right now with this price action that we have currently, other than over here all the way to the left, which, once this structure gets broken, that's when I really feel like, okay, yes, now we're going to start to come down over to these lows. But other than that, this price action that we have on the daily time frame that we're currently playing with, in my opinion, is like, this is legit an area where price could just like start to turn around and go bullish. It's came to the point of control, it's tapped that. Let's see what's gonna happen. I have the same thing on this chart over here, the same exact thing. I'm like, there's a lot of volume over here. Price has just tapped that. It could come a little bit lower, but there's a lot now. Now the majority of the volume is going to be sitting up here. So, like I said, right now I am still like feeling the bulls on the dollar. I really do still feel that way, but I am more than likely going to be looking for a turnaround on the lower time frame before I try to play anything, quite honestly. So what I mean by that is, well, first of all, there's a gap that opened up in the market, so that's interesting to see. But actually, let me go on to this chart over here instead. So what I mean by, I want to see a shift in structure. I really want to see. Oh man, there's not really a lot for me to over here and think and play with, really, except for if I could see price break through this structure right here, maybe on the lower time frame, that's when I'll be like, okay, I'll start to look for a buying opportunity. I mean, point of control is up to the upside on the lower time frame anyways. Like if I take this out and then put the daily volume, like there's still volume sitting up here that needs to get hit. Same thing. Well, actually, this got hit, but yeah, like there's still like volume up here that needs to get hit regardless. So, I am feeling, again, I want price to go bullish regardless. Like no matter what way I'm looking at this, I want price to go bullish. But I do want this structure to at least get broken before I really start to play something first. So I'm gonna wait for this type of play right here. Break this structure, retrace, and then continue going bullish. That's what I want to play for the US dollar right now for a safer play. I'm not totally against trying to buy it right now. I'm really not, but at the same time, I'd rather just wait. Better to be safe at this point, in my honest opinion. Price has dropped a lot, and so hey, we'll see what goes down. This could be even a play on the lower time frame where it's like, no, the US dollar is just going to come up to like 106.6651 and then push to the downside. But again, this is what I want to see for my bias, for my bullish bias to be like, okay, yes, let's really go ahead and get into this buy type of thing. So, also, from these bears, I mean, this volume on this candlestick, it was there, but it's not as much as I was hoping that it would be. I'm not really too convinced about the play like that. So I do still see that, hey, 109.6173, that can be a possible area where price could come back into the supply. that price could come back into and then go bearish at. But I'm just, again, I'm going to be patient and wait and see what happens. I'm not really going to jump at the dollar right now. Not yet. You know, monthly time frame. I've had this on here. I've had this like just smack daddy on the chart for a reason, just to know that on the monthly time frame, right now, price is currently underneath the monthly time frame 78.6 Fibonacci. So that's just something that I do want everybody to pay attention to. So that being said, let's go on over to arbitrage. I'm not gonna lie, Arby did a really good job calling these plays. I was looking at it over on the weekend, and I'm like, on the daily time frame, this was a very nice sell-off on Arby. It dropped, broke through the RSI line, like based off of how I trade it, right? It broke to the downside, retraced. It went a little bit higher than I would have wanted it to, but I would have if I was really trading only Arby, I would have sold right here, and then it would have been a really nice sell-off. Quite honestly, very nice sell. Weekly time frame, still very much bearish, and I mean, well, it's not. It's kind of quite a coincidence that price is right here at this upper danger zone and RSI line. Price would need to like really continue going bearish and break through this zone for me to really feel like really bearish on the US dollar on the weekly time frame. And when that happens, that's when like my bias would just remain bearish for a long time. So, and that's not ready yet. I don't think that's ready at all. I think that we're literally going to start seeing price turn around on the US dollar very shortly. 4-hour time frame, price is over here at the third deviation. Yeah, I'm expecting turnarounds, guys. I'm not expecting the dollar to continue going bearish. And if it does, then that'd be interesting. But again, for me to really start to say that the US dollar is going to, like, I'm gonna be purely having a bearish bias on it and even I'll start to have a purely bearish bias because it'll only be a correction move for me. But it's when these lows of 104.610 or 104 basically gets broken. That's when I'll be like, okay, now I'm going to start to say bearish dollar. But until then, I'm still bullish on it, right? So let's go over to Euro USD. You know, just like I was saying, this was the bearish play that I was trying to play on Euro USD. It ended up not playing out. Stop loss ended up getting hit. Price ended up dropping to my freaking 1-to-1 right after, which is so funny, but then ended up continue going bullish. And that's totally fine because it came into a zone that I was talking about last week, right? Let me go ahead and delete all this stuff over here. And again, same thing over here. We have the 78.6 monthly fib. This has to be monthly, sorry. Monthly fib that we have above that Euro USD is above for the bullish move, right? So that's something that I just want to point out. But you know, daily time frame, I was saying that, you know, hey, this does have equal highs right here that Euro USD has to break through. And you know, the volume for this bullish move isn't really there either. And quite honestly, like this candlestick had a lot more volume than everything else. That's kind of interesting. Weekly time frame, the volume is just matching up with all the other candlesticks as well. So it's not that I don't want to say I'll say intimidating. You know, it's not really that much intimidating for me to look for buys still. You know, I'm not really too convinced about it. And overall, you know, from this high, right, from this lower high, or I mean, that's not even, I'll just say from this swing high to this swing low down here, you know, price is literally coming to line up into an area where price can just go bullish at. And there's equal highs right here. So for price to just do something where it's like, oh, I'm just going to come and grab these equal highs at this liquidity up here and then push to the downside, I feel like that's like light work for EU type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that that's really light work. So I'm personally still feeling that, you know, EU can go slightly higher because I know that there's going to be retail traders who are going to be like, oh, well, yeah, let's go ahead and try to sell right here because now there's equal highs right here. Not to say that they're wrong about that, but it's just I'm pretty sure that there's some volume still sitting up slightly higher. Let me take a look at that. Let me see. I mean, right now, all the majority of the volume is to the downside. So that's even that right there. Going to the weekly time frame, see what that's looking like. Naturally, it's going to be more volume up here, and that's if price does break above highs. Yeah, I think that this is a play that I'm going to be looking for real life on EU. Like if it just shoots up slightly higher up to 1.03867, then falls, I think that'll be a pretty decent play, to say the least. But right now on EU, a lot of the volume is sitting over here to the downside. But there is this volume right here at 1.05291 that's very suspicious to me. And I mean, obviously, there's these equal highs right here that price fell from and then continue falling. That's literally lining up with it, right? And I think that that might be probably. I mean, it's not even the next play because price can just come up right here, hold, and then push to the downside on some EU stuff. But just like I was saying with the dollar, the safest bet for a EU sell would be, hey, wait for a shift of structure type of thing. Like this is the most recent lower high. I mean higher low right here. So and volume is still sitting to the downside as well. Let me go ahead and get daily volume to see. Yeah, right here. I mean, price came back and tapped that and then ran up, but still, I don't know. I still feel like this still needs to get all touched, this volume right here, to say the least. But I would definitely rather see price push to the downside and break the zone in retracement and then continue selling for a safer play on Euro USD. That would be a safer sell opportunity than to just sell either right now at current price or wait for the 78.6 at 1.03907 or 1.03900 basically and then sell. Either or, I think they're both good selling opportunities, but this is what I'm going to be waiting for. I'm going to wait for this bearish move, retracement, the continuation to the downside, because for all I know, all EU can really be doing is like, hey, I'm just going to come down over to 1.02865 and then continue going bullish. It could definitely do that, but that's not what I'm looking for. So, all right, that's for EU. Gonna go on over to RB real quick and see what arbitrage is talking about. Okay, weekly time frame, same thing. It's sitting right there at the lower danger zone, or it's the opposite of Euro US of the dollar, right? It's sitting right here at the RSI line and the lower danger zone. Now, these are starting to look like they're confirming buyings, but I still need price to go a little bit more bullish before I feel that type of way. So until then, I'm still going to treat this as a resistance for right now. Until this gets broken type of thing, then that'll be a different story, but we'll see what goes down. Daily time frame price can still go up slightly a little bit higher to like 1.04800 or something like that. Very much likely could happen. A third deviation on the 4-hour time frame has been like hit basically. So yeah, we're looking for turnarounds, but right now it'll be a little too early. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be traders who are going to be trying to get it in right now, and they're not wrong to, but I'd rather just again be patient and wait for structures to get broken before I play anything. Or if there's some type of divergence plays, then I'd be down for those as well. I'm not in anything right now. Okay, let's take a look at UChef. UChef was another one that, gave me a pretty nice slap in the face with this play right here. I think it was from this low to this high or something like that. Price came down over here. I thought it was going to sell off. It never did. It just kept dropping and all that jazz. So yeah, I think that was the play. But anyways, weekly time frame, very bearish engulfing candle on the weekly time frame on UChef. However, volume doesn't match up with the candlestick, in my opinion. I would have really loved if the candlestick was much, I mean, if the volume was much larger. I would have really rather that have happened, but I can't ignore the price action either. You know, that is a very big weekly candlestick right there. Can't ignore the price action whatsoever. Haven't had a large candlestick like that in a very long time on the weekly time frame. So daily time frame, I do notice that price came and it just stopped at this zone right here. Very interesting area because this was previously, you know, from this low to this high, that was previously where price had bounced off at the 78.6 for it to go and go bullish and make a 1-4 move all the way up to these highs. So that's just interesting to me how prices came back down into that same area. I'm not necessarily one to want to say that, hey, you know, it's coming back down from this low. Price did come and make a high, like a higher high right here. This is the new swing high, and this was the most previous swing low. As much as yes, that's the case, kind of, I don't necessarily want to buy UChef right here. You know, I don't like how price already had bounced off here before. You know, that's so as much as I see it, I'm not really crazy about buying it right here, right now, but I do know that this is a good demand area where I know that possible buys can kick in. So what I would rather really want to see, and it's just like with Euro USD, right? I would rather see some type of structures on the lower time frame get broken before I start to consider playing the buys, you know? So it's kind of like I want to see this structure right here get broken before I start to consider some buys, because real life, even when this gets broken, I'm gonna be looking for sells, like something like this, like from this high to this low. I'd be looking for sells right here, and that just matches up with it perfectly, type of play, you know. But other than that, real life, I'm more seeing bearish plays than bullish plays. Like the most recent, like the most current obvious selling opportunity to me is for price to come to 0.95143 and then continue selling, right? So that's where I'm just like, you know what? The best opportunity, since I'm looking for buys in this area, is that, you know, just wait for this structure to get broken, retrace, and then continue going bearish with it. I mean, bullish with it. Um, a lot of volume sitting up here still. That's a good thing to see. It looks like volume, the price came to the previous day's volume and then dropped, but that's still something I'll still pay attention to for it to get hit. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling about UChef right now. Not really gonna try to stay on here for too long and go super in debt with the markets, although they did really make big moves. You know, they made big moves, but again, it's still overall, I mean, there's still volume sitting up to the upside over here regardless. And I mean, more than likely, when prices get up here, I make a decision on if I would want to continue selling UChef or not. But right now is not the time where I'm going to be looking for sales, quite honestly. Unless, like I said, unless I see the price action for this, like from this high low to from this high to this low, if it retraces up here and it looks good, yeah, I might sell it. Why not? But other than that, we'll see what goes down. We'll see what really goes down. Let me go on over to UChef on RB weekly time frame. Ooh, very bearish. Actually broke through that RSI line. That's very interesting. But no matter what, I still need to see UChef make a retracement before I look to sell it. So that's something that no matter what happens, I still got to see it on the weekly. 4-hour time frame. I mean, daily time frame. We have price at the second deviation, so we can potentially see it start to turn around. I still needed to come and hit this RSI line. It didn't retrace back up there like I would have wanted it to. So on daily time frame wise, I would still need it to do that, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. Give me a second. Okay. And then 4 hour, yeah, 4 hour at this third deviation. I expect this to start to turn around like today. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure there's going to be people right now that are going to be looking to buy USHF or sell Euro USD because it was selling so much last week, and it's not a bad idea. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting these things to turn around. I'm just staying disciplined and waiting for my setups before I play anything. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and continue on with Mr. Goldilocks. Okay, gold is another one. It played me. I was thinking that it was going to sell off over here at 1713. It didn't do such, but when you got that risk management on deck, you good. But anyways, and I had talked about it last week. I was like, hey, it is bouncing off of a zone, or it did bounce off of a zone multiple times where it can go bullish, but I still felt like it can come over to the 78.6 fib. And right now, especially where it's at, even on the weekly time frame, it's interesting to see that right now it's currently holding right below at the 50 EMA after this bullish move. And the volume is increasing as price is increasing. So that's also something I want to pay attention to. But this is something that I was watching for weeks now, and I did say that if this happens, I was gonna play it, and price is getting there. Its price is getting up to that 1780 area where I was like, I want to sell the market if it gets up here. So, I will be looking to swing sell this. Quite honestly, this is a swing sell that I'm gonna be looking to play on Goldilocks. 1 to 2, always a given. You want to like 1 to 1 or 1 to 2. I feel like that's always going to be a thing given for me. But real life, I do want to see just price how price is going to react if and when it gets down over here to 1589. I still think that hey, it can still continue going bearish for sure, but 1589 is what I'm really looking at when it comes to gold on the futures chart. I'm pretty sure on the other chart it looks a little different, but this is what I'm going to be looking for on gold mainly, right? I mean, of course, for a trade setup like this, I'd say always aim for the extensions, but if you have a system or a way how you take partials with these type of trades to where like, hey, even if it doesn't go and hit full TP, you have a system for it, that's something that I'm going to be watching for. But overall, I'm still bearish on gold, and it's kind of the same thing how I'm still pretty much bearish on EU, bullish on USHF, and bullish on the US dollar. So that's for gold. Gonna go on over here. Let me actually check something real quick. Okay, I'm pretty sure that y'all can hear me over here. I'm pretty sure. That's funny. Okay. So let's go ahead and go over to Goldilocks. Oh, that was a trade. That was a loss right here. I want to see what this loss was looking like. Or I think I paper traded this. Oh no, I actually took this, but it was like half risk, like on my personal. All right. But let me go ahead and delete this. But regardless, weekly time frame on RB, it's coming up to that RSI line, so that's something interesting to see. Still very much bearish. Daily time frame, yeah, called for a buy, but it never retraced like I wanted it to, so didn't get an opportunity to sell that or to buy that. And 4 hour time frame is just really bullish, and I expect it to start to turn around. But again, I'd rather wait for price to come up to 1780.2 on the future chart before continuing to fall. So going on to the regular gold chart, this is what I'd rather see at this point. And isn't it interesting how the volume right here on the daily is just like whatever? But hold on, I want to see what the weekly volume looks like. Even the weekly volume looks whatever. But overall, same thing. Oh, well, I mean, on here, it actually looks like it's hit. Very interesting. So on this chart, it looks like it's already hits. Now that's where you have to go on your broker and see if it hit on your broker type of thing. But this is the play regardless. Like this is the play that I would play on Goldilocks. I'm about to actually gonna have to go and play this on my account. Well, I'm gonna have to make sure that my broker, the one that I'm referring to, is having this, but I'm looking for the setup right here. Safest bet, though, however, just like with Euro USD and with USHF and everything else, is to wait for this structure right here, to say the least. Wait for this structure to get broken, retracement, and then sell. That is the best, as the safest bet to make. Even on the 5-minute time frame right now, it's probably going to do the same thing on the lower time frame. It's broken through this lower time frame structure. Once it makes the retracement on the file, some 5-minute type stuff, then sell off type of thing. Yes, that's more than likely what I'm going to be looking at. So gold is going to be something very interesting for me to be like paying attention to regardless. Like the gold is like a play that I'm getting into like right after I get off of the Zoom. Joe Selborn, you're gonna get waxed. All breakdowns are friend in your head top. Hey man, if gold, if my stop loss gets hit, my stop loss gets hit. Guess what? I only risk 1% of my account size. Like honestly speaking, in fact, let me go ahead. Oh, I'm in a Bitcoin buy. Awesome. I'll talk about that very shortly. Dang, let me go ahead and actually set this magic keys up real quick for this other account. Give me a second, guys. I think it's meta quotes terminal. This one is Hugo, so I think it's this. Okay. Yeah, bro. Like honestly, like as much as I do look at other people's opinions and stuff like that, this is already something that I was watching for. Like it's been pre-marked for me, already. It's something that I was already watching for weeks ahead of time. Usually when stuff like that happens, there's not a lot that anybody can tell me that will make me change my mind about it. And that's just my like honest opinion, you know what I'm saying? But hey, let's see what happens, Connor. Like we'll see what's good. You have your bias, I have mine. Let me go ahead and set this straight up over here. My diamonds on VVs. Unless it's the news, I got something to prove. Yeah, I mean, on my broker, on this broker on here, it's showing that it's the same setup. So I'm risking, I think I'm going to go ahead and risk 1.5% on this setup since it's a swing. And it's something that again I was already prepared for to trade. It's not right at my pricing, but usually once that pricing gets hit, I'm just on some stuff like if you do want to still play it, either A, you wait for it to get closer to that pricing, or B, you just play it and you just have a slightly lower risk to reward ratio. That's just how I feel about it. So gonna go ahead and risk 1.5%. Oh, hold on. Actually, on this account, it's 150. There you go. Let me see, it's still on here. My boy P. I'm pretty sure that you're gonna agree to the lower time frame play. Why are you not activating? I'll worry about that later. But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm feeling the bears on Goldilocks for sure. 1767 was already a price that I marked off from last week, but the safest play, wait for the bearish move, retracement, and then continue selling down. So RB wise, I already talked about gold, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Now it's going over to the indices. It's going over these indices over here, man. So we have S&P weekly time frame. First and foremost, price bounced off of this supply zone. I mean, this demand zone pretty decently, you know, and it's going bullish. Definitely interesting to see that. As it's going bullish, though, it's interesting to see the volume is decreasing. And even with this big candlestick over here, I'm interested that the volume, isn't larger than at least this candlestick from 2 weeks ago. So that's just one thing that I'm noting and paying attention to. Daily time frame, even this big large candlestick right here, same thing. The volume is not really as large as I wanted it to be, as prices coming into an area from this previous high to this low, like this previous higher high to this, this previous lower high to this lower low. Price is coming into a very interesting supply area. And I'm just over here like, okay, yeah, if I'm still feeling bearish about this, and if I'm feeling bearish over here and I'm feeling bullish about the dollar where it's currently at, then kind of fitting for me, There still is a huge possibility for price to continue going bullish naturally. Let me see where the point of control is sitting at. Point of control is still, when I add in this pricing, point of control is still sitting up right here, which matches up with this, well, not with this fib, but it matches up with this fib better from this previous lower high, or if you want to say swing high to this swing low, whichever one you want to call it. It matches up better with that fib wise. So if it matches up with this fib wise, I think I'd rather wait for this setup personally before I try to trade SPX 500. Just, it just looks better to me personally. It matches up with that point of control much better. So gonna wait and see what the other indices look like before I make that official bias. Okay. So now we have US 30. US 30 is coming up to these equal highs up here. And if I were to have any type of swing levels that I would rather play on it, and of course, I'm pretty sure point of control is going to be over here. Yep. So it's going to really match up better with this. And so if it matches up with this, then it's kind of interesting because, not interesting because price has already basically kind of tapped that area. It's already tapped that area where it had higher volume, and it still can go slightly higher than what I'm thinking. And if it does slightly go higher, in which in my personal opinion, if SPX comes up over here, quite honestly, if SPX comes up over here, then I'm thinking that US 30 is more than likely going to push up to 35,000 before pushing to the downside. That's just my personal opinion. So this is, for me, US 30 selling at 35,000 is a much better idea than trying to sell it over here at like 34,000. I'd rather sell at 35,000 at this point. So that's my opinion on US 30. It can definitely sell off from where it's at right now. I'm not going to try it. I'd rather just sell it off at that point that I have listed. NASDAQ at this, but NASDAQ on the other hand, NASDAQ is definitely the slower one amongst the three. And just compared to how the other indices look, it would be wiser to take it from this previous swing high to this swing low for a fib play. But just if I'm trying to match up and time the market with everything together, the most suitable place to sell NASDAQ at, if S&P and the US 30 continue going bullish, is probably going to be up here at 12,500. So that's probably where I'm going to be looking at. But again, I'm going to watch how all three of the markets are proceeding up to these levels before I decide to trade anything. But those are my three main levels on the indices. I have 41,050 on SPX 500, 35,100 on US 30, and then 12,450 on NASDAQ. That's how I truly feel about all three of them. I still feel like they're bearish, but I want them to go a little bit more bullish, which kind of not even kind of, it lines up with like literally everything else that I'm seeing in the market right now. So there's that. Daily time frame on SPS 500. This smacked on RB so hard. Breakout, retrace, continuation. This beautiful play, like beautiful RB play. And I had talked about it last week, I believe. It's just I didn't get into it, but and that's because I was so worried about what the other indices were looking like. So that's just one of those plays that is like, oh well, you missed it. Too bad. US 30, definitely not looking to try to play off of this daily time frame. Weekly time frame is very interesting as prices broke above the RSI line. Very interesting to see that. S&P has not yet though, and S&P is still coming to an area where I'm looking to sell it at. So that's still, I'm watching that. Going on over to NASDAQ has gone bullish off of this daily time frame, but I'm not really feeling the bulls. It is confirmed. All I need is a retracement and then a continuation buy for me to really feel confirmed about it. But I'm still gonna play my bearish bias over here. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I'm still gonna play this bearish bias. So I'll probably get another point of view from my boy P off of the VIX. I don't really look at you know what? Let me go take a look at the VIX. I don't really trade the VIX, but I can take a look at it every once in a while. And VIX, kind of the same thing. I mean, I haven't looked at this in a long time, and it's so funny how price did actually bounce off of this zone last time I was even taking a look at it. But for the VIX overall, it has been going bearish, but I'm just keeping it as that. From this previous swing low to this swing high, the VIX is literally at an area where it can turn around for me potentially, right? I know, yes, it can continue pushing to the downside a little bit more, but I'm just pointing that out. I'm just pointing that out, plain and simple. Yeah. So, all right, let's go on over to the cryptos. Man, oh man, have these bad boys. Let me delete this real quick. I'm not talking about this today. Man, oh man, has Bitcoin continue making lower lows. And it's crazy? When we were telling people not to buy over here, they thought we was wild. But anyways, definitely am still eyeing the likes of 10,000 and even still potentially 7,500 in the future. I actually want to go and take a look at the futures chart on Bitcoin real quick. Or this is Bitcoin shorts, man. Bitcoin shorts on the weekly, very big, very large. Hasn't been this large since, like I would say, on July of 2021. So that's interesting. But I'm trying to look for. Wait, are these the futures? No, they're not. Let me just go over here. Okay. So, unfortunately, selling opportunity that I wanted over here at 21,800, whatever, it never got hit, and extendos hit. It is what it is. It's just part of the setup sometimes. Looking at this from a weekly time frame, I mean, there's still the weekly point of control over here at 10,000 and 7,500, yada yada. I've been saying that for months now. That's Peyton is the one that even pointed out first of all, but I've been saying it for months as well. Largest volume that we've seen on Bitcoin since back over here in 2019 on the CME charts. This is the largest volume, guys. So with that being said, I do know on both the Telegram channel, both to DeFi chats and others, I've been saying that these are amazing prices to buy these cryptos at. As much as they are very much beautiful prices to buy at right now, there is such a large possibility for us to still see 50% reduced price from where these are at. But if we don't see that, let's just say that we don't see a 50% drop from right now. So let's just say from right here, this is 50% drop all the way down to like 7,700, right? Which I've already established. Those are prices that I'm still aiming for. We can still see that for sure. But let's say that if prices do start to just chill out right here, hypothetically speaking, and they do start to go bullish, and let's just say that we start to see a fake bullish run in 2023 where price is going to go up to like $30,000 or $40,000, you can still go and make from price from here to $30,000. You can still go and make double your money on Bitcoin, or if price goes up to 40K, you can still go make $150 on your money on Bitcoin or anything like that. So that's why I'm like, with these prices as of right now, buying in a cold wallet, because I don't trust these exchanges, buying and holding your crypto in a cold wallet at these current prices, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, Ripple, Sol, I'm kind of not feeling Sol right now. So stay away from Sol, in my opinion. Tron, what other cryptos are there? Chainlink, there's a whole bunch of different other cryptos out right there. They're not bad to buy right now. Just know that with that being said, there is still a huge possibility for prices to drop 50% from where they are currently at, or where they have been at for the whole weekend, at that matter. Okay, so with that being said, I mean, at this point, higher time frames, very large volume to the downside. Right now, I'm feeling more bears than anything on the cryptos. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I am in a buy right now on Biddy, and I mean, if you want, you can join on this, but I'm not gonna like say that I'm gonna count this off or anything. But like, my stop loss is below these lows right here, and dang, over here on the CME charts, Bitcoin came down to 14K, 14,900. That's wild. But right now, this is what I'm looking at higher time frame wise on Bitcoin. Like, all I see is price coming over here to like 19,000, or I mean 20,000, and then making another push to the downside where it's going to get towards my weekly point of control. It just looks, that's what I'm looking at right now, higher time frame wise. This is the play that I'm currently in, though, that I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If y'all want to get in, by all means, got in at the 78.6. My stop loss is right here at these lows, and I'm looking to take price up to the extensions. So there's that. Let's go on over to the Ethereum futures. I like how Bitcoin made new lows and Ethereum didn't make new lows. I do like that. I remember that I had mentioned that. I had mentioned that, I think maybe a month or a month and a half ago, where I'm like, if Bitcoin makes new lows and Ethereum doesn't make new lows, I am going to be like, if it comes over here, look, it came to the daily point of control and bounced off of it 2 days in a row. That's very, very interesting stuff to me. I want to see where the daily point of control is at now. Now it's to the upside. Very interesting. Very interesting after it came and tapped it. Because look, and I'll even rewind it so that we can see if that's where the point of control really was at. Let's see. Nah, there's no way that. I feel like the point of control might have moved. Let me see that if I add more pricing into it, where's it gonna lead it to me to? I don't know. But I had this, and this has been on here for a while, for this weekly point of control right here. I really am interested. And I don't think that if I zoom into price this much, it's gonna show that the point of control is down here. Yes, not. Dang. Okay. It's just interesting that how that's literally where price dropped down to and then went bullish after. It's just very, very interesting to me. But yeah, again, it's the same thing with Ethereum. I feel like there is a high chance that it can go bullish after Bitcoin has made that new low, and this hasn't. However, we need to start to see Bitcoin dominance. I mean, Ethereum dominance. Where is it? Here it is. We need to start to see Ethereum dominance start to jump. We need to start to see that Ethereum dominance gain, because this is a zone that I had marked up a while ago. And back in September, it was holding at the zone between August and September, it was holding at the zone and dropped off, made a retracement. And then if I just go onto the daily time frame and do the same thing, where I draw a fib from that high to this low, look where it came back up to the 71% and then dove off right after that. We need to start to see a Ethereum dominance if we're going to possibly see this play happen, where at Ethereum current prices where it's at right now, we start to really see it go bullish. I would love to see Ethereum go bullish because, again, right now I think is a great time to buy it, but there is still the opportunity or the chance that we start to see Ethereum. If this dominance goes down, then we're going to see Ethereum go down as well. Bitcoin dominance, it's been holding at this zone, which is an interesting zone for me because I was saying that from this low to this high, this is a zone I'm going to be watching for Bitcoin dominance. It bounced off the 71%, went bullish, but it's still somewhere I'm going to be watching for. And on the weekly time frame, it's just a zone in general that's been holding for ages. It's been holding for a while. No, not ages, but since like 2021, it's been holding at this zone that previously in 2018 it was holding at. So just got to be paying attention and watching out for those dominance. And of course, we have tether dominance, guys. And tether dominance, I'm not going to lie, this thing just lined up way too perfect for the fibs and then blasted off. At first we were like, there's this fib that from this low or from this swing low to the swing high on tether dominance. And I was like, you know what? I want to see 5.54% or 4.96% of tether dominance before we really start to see it take off. And it just stopped here at the 61.8 and took off and really blasted off. And then even after that, it really lined up pretty decently with this play that we were looking for on Bitcoin. We were looking, how we were looking for that that sell on Bitcoin that it barely missed. This lined up extremely perfectly, came to the 78.6 and looked exactly where it tapped, the 61.8 extension. Right now, it's still not looking good, and it still looks like we're going to remain in this bearish market for right now, in this bearish crypto market. But as for right now, like I said, these prices, you can't go wrong with them because just a year ago, we're in November 2022. Let's see, in November 2021, people were buying Bitcoin at 64,000 in them. People were buying Bitcoin above 60,000. So to say that a year later it's at 16K, it's right now is a good time to start accumulating. But these cryptos, if you don't know how to play with them, you might need to contact somebody who knows how to play with them for you. So that's on the cryptos. I talked a lot about those. If I go to RB, y'all will get discouraged, but let's discourage y'all a little bit. Why not? Weekly time frame. Price can still keep dropping to 8,000, 7,000 over there. Very much likelihood on Biddy. Daily time frame. Yeah, I wouldn't play that. 4-hour time frame. I wouldn't play this either. 1-hour time frame. Still very much bearish. Yeah, everything is bearish on these cryptos. I wouldn't play anything on them. Yeah, we're good off of those. All right, and the GPs. I don't think I'm going to go over the GP, guys. I think I'm going to just stick it with actually. I still have time to talk about these. Okay, I have time to talk about these. This was the play that I was looking at for GU. It played out 1-1, might have even played out 1-2, but then ended up going bullish, and that's totally fine. Delete all that jazz. Go on to the weekly time frame, see what that volume talking about. A lot of volume and current price action, but with this big engulfing candle and it not making more volume than all of these, it's making me question if this is going to continue bullish, right? Just like how with everything else, I feel questionable about the bulls. And, so I'm just taking from this previous swing high to this swing low. It's just so interesting how price is lining up with all these fibs all across the board with these USD pairs. So, I would really love if 1.18762 would have get hit. But overall, again, safest play, the safest bet that I'm going to be watching for is, hey, let's wait for some structures to get broken on the lower time frames before we start to try to sell the market type of thing. Same thing on GU. Not going to look at RB because it's going to be, same thing. GBP, JPY, on the other hand, I mean, it's playing out like how I wanted it to, but it never gave me a chance to play. I had said that, hey, GJ, I wanted to fake out to the upside first, push to the downside. Once it pushes to the downside, I would love for it to retrace before making a new lower low. It retraced before making a new lower low, just not retraced high enough for me to sell it. That's just on that. So I'm gonna leave GJ alone. I do see a potential bull setup on this. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to anybody, especially since this is a bullish market. Price coming into 162.379, it might be a good buying opportunity for the short term, to say the least. At least to come up to like 169.243. In my personal opinion, it's not a bad idea, and it's also ABCing down here. It's not a bad play in my eyes. So actually, you know what? I think I am going to play this buy limit. No cap. It doesn't look terrible to me. At least for a 1-2 play, doesn't look terrible to me. So yeah, that's going to be on GJ. Going to depend more on how price is going to get there tonight as well. If price just drops down there, then I might not want to play that. But if there's some divergence down there as well, that would be amazing. So that's for GP, JPY. Let me go on over to RB real quick. And, since I'm already on here, let's see what GU looks like. Daily time frame, holding right there. It's funny, it's holding right there as I'm expecting it to drop. That's very interesting. And then weekly time frame. Yeah, I'm still looking for the bears on GU, guys. GJ, weekly time frame, still very much indecisive. Daily time frame, it's underneath of the fib, so that's interesting, but I'm not quite ready to sell this on RB yet. And the 4-hour time frame, I'm pretty sure is bearish. Yeah, bearish, but I'm not ready to play it. Okay, yeah, guys, I'd rather just play what I have over here on GJ rather than look at arbitrage right now. So with that being said, let's go on over to Euro GP for the last pair. If there's any of the pairs that anybody wants me to take a look at, now would be a good time to call them out. EG was one of those pairs where it's like, dang, if only I kept trading, I could have made money off of it. I had this mapped out, and I said up here at 0.88050 might be a good selling point. But you know what? Now this is giving me an opportunity to say I think, a selling opportunity on the 1-hour time frame. Although it didn't break below these lows like how I would have wanted it to. But I am not against trying to sell this right here. I'm really not against price coming up to 0.8800 and then me looking for the sell. I think that's actually what I'm going to be looking for as I'm looking for buys on GP, JPY. This is a good trade setup in my opinion. At least for a 1-2 or 3-word play, extension wise, I mean, extensions off of this actually look really good. No cap. For it to just come to the 23.6, that might be a really good play for a 1-6.5 versus 3-word trade. That looks solid to me. Okay. Let me look at Discord real quick. All right, nothing over there. Cooling. Let me go over to oil real quick, and then I'll hop off because I actually do want to see what oil we're talking about. I think there's a selling opportunity I was looking for on oil. Yeah, there is. Okay. Equal highs are the only thing that is scaring me about the play, however. But let me go ahead and just delete everything off of this chart. Delete. Okay. So first and foremost, oil, weekly, daily, weekly time frame, whatever. From this swing low to this swing high, prices came down, came into and hit this 78.6 fib right here perfectly, and they went bullish, right? And I was saying, okay, cool, awesome. On the daily time frame wise, I would be looking for a play like from this swing low on the daily time, on the 4-hour daily time frame to this swing high, which is just equal highs right here. I would have loved for price to have came down a little lower to the 78.6, but it came to the 61.8 and went bullish. So that's not going to be a play I'm going to be playing any longer. But, you know, over here, what I'm seeing at oil, which is just, again, is lining up for me personally with how I'm feeling with the US dollar, is that from this high to this low is a good opportunity to sell over here at $91.88 on oil. And I like the selling opportunity here because on the 1-hour time frame, it's pretty clear to me that structure has broken. Pretty clear to me that this structure over here got broken, and then price is just climbing up there. And I like the way that price is climbing up there. As it's increasing, the volume is decreasing, number one. Number two, point of control, I'm pretty sure it's over here. It's not the greatest to me. Probably means that price is going to come down here before coming up to these highs. But I do believe that there's going to be some untested volume of those highs. Let's see. Yep, right here. Right here. Yeah, we have two areas of untested volume. So yeah, I'm going to be definitely looking for this oil sell over here at $91.81 or whatever. Yeah, $91.81. I definitely like that sell point on oil. So when that gets hit, you know we're going to smack it. All right, guys. And I think this is going to be a good extension play as well. All right, so with that being said, no other pairs from anybody or anything. That's going to be the case. I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Thanks for hopping on, guys. I do appreciate it. For those on Discord, if you need the recording, just let me know. And let's go ahead and make this money, guys.